Got a good one for you today. It's Ryan Howe, Small Business News. It's a show where I bring you just some of the information I share with my clients every single day, and I definitely have a good one for you. It's a great article on something that I've discussed with my clients at length, and personally I've had to deal with back when I was in industry quite a bit, which is psychological safety, the term, and being able to just pull that card. Oh, my psychological safety is being threatened right now. Is that being weaponized in the workplace? So we got a good article from Fast Company that we're going to get into today. Is psychological safety being weaponized? And fastcompany.com, links to everything this article is going to be in the description. You can check it out there. As a leader, you're likely to no stranger to the concept of psychological safety. It's on every HR department's checklist, and for good reason. It's crucial for fostering trust, collaboration, and innovation within teams. But what happens when psychological safety is weaponized, which it has been for by a lot of people for quite some time, just because they don't want to hear any criticism of their work. They're not used to accountability. We're going to get into that, but it's definitely something that has been weaponized for sure. Leaders across the sectors faced a shared challenge promoting psychological safety while addressing its misuse. For example, a private sector CEO recently described damaging tension between their people and culture executive pushing, by the way, and I'll just be pretty blunt on this one. The CEO is responsible for people and culture. Like the CEO sets the tone for the culture in the company. You cannot just offload on that to somebody else. So if you have a people and culture executive, as a CEO, you better be having a deeper look on why you think you can just delegate that off to someone else. But anyways, pushing for more research to train leaders in psychological safety, and the chief operating officer who called it an excuse to dodge performance discussions. And I get that. The answer is somewhere in between that. Now, similarly, a public sector leader was pressured to act after a constructive debate amongst their executive team was labeled psychologically unsafe by an employee who had been invited to present at the meeting. Again, these instances of the complexity of managing psychological safety in the workplace. Now, with this, let's get into what it means. Then I've got a couple comments on this. Begin by addressing the most fundamental issues, the term itself. Psychological safety is misleadingly broad and often confused with psychosocial safety, which encompasses a much wider range of employee mental and emotional well-being concerns. According to Harvard research, Amy Edmondson, psychological safety creates an environment where team members feel secure enough to take interpersonal risks. Simply put, it's about feeling confident enough to share ideas, questions, and concerns, and mistakes, an essential component of effective teamwork. Here's the essence. This is about team effectiveness, not just overall safety. And that's 100% correct here. That what I found when I've been with my clients as a whole is that the work that you have to do with psychological safety takes place long before you're in the meeting room, long before you're having those difficult conversations about accountability and deliverables that they have to have. It takes place every single interaction from the moment the person enters the company, even prior to that, when they're during the interview process. You have to build trust, and trust takes a very long time to build. It shouldn't be, nor is it ever just given away freely. It has to be earned interaction after interaction, and that goes both ways. On the employee side, just because something happens where there's a miscommunication or something, and the leadership team says, yo, hey, that's our bad, that was a mistake on our part, that doesn't mean that all the trust is just dissolved at that point. It means, hey, you were able to talk to them, they acknowledge it, and then they acquiesced. That needs to be recognized. It's not something you can just continue to hold over them. So, all right. Now, if your team is high in psychological safety but has little sense of accountability, there's a risk of slipping into a comfort zone, stagnation, and unreliable outcomes. Conversely, if there's a high accountability but no interpersonal safety, fear, anxiety, and defensiveness will constrain participation and inevitably undermine performance. That's something I do with my clients consistently, is how to find the right balance between those two. It has to be a constant evaluation to find that sweet spot for what you need. And again, you can learn a little bit more about what I do to help my clients grow their business faster than I ever thought possible at somebusinessguys.com. Learn just about a few of the clients that I work with here in West Michigan, which I'm out of and around the country. Learn more about the Pinnacle business operating system that my clients use to grow their businesses. And then learn a little bit about my latest videos that I have out here on YouTube and then also here on Facebook as well. So let's get back into it. To foster a high-performing team, your task is to blend psychological safety with collective accountability, nurturing a culture of accountable collaboration. Now, those aren't just like consultant words. That actually has a tactical meaning to it. And collaboration is where both parties gain, but you're accountable to each other to make sure that you're going to deliver on your end. I think you want to rethink trust. As much as you might hope that people on your team innately trust you and their colleagues, that's not what science and experience tells us. Reflect on leaders who earned your trust and built trusting teams. Was it through position titles and a few nice words or genuine engagement? Just as I was saying there, you have to do the heavy lifting when it comes to building trust. It's never just extended. Your responsibility as a leader is to organize, train, and equip those three things. And you want to be constantly listening to your teams. They're going to be telling you in their day-to-day conversations without realizing it that they need help with organization, right, with training or with the equipment to do their work. Now, I want to create accountability, move beyond rhetoric to action. Don't just describe the expectations, coach your team to own their behaviors and outcomes. Promote collective accountability by facilitating conversations about purpose and vision, taking every opportunity to reinforce what accountability looks like in daily behaviors. I have my managers and I coach all of my leadership teams to do is when they have an assignment due, say, okay, I know you have certain things on your plate. Here's what I need done. When do you think you can get this to me? And have them make the first offer of like, hey, I can get this to you by next Thursday at 2 p.m. But this way, they're able to look at their schedule with their work that they have. And then with the new assignment, they can manage their own affairs, give them the opportunity to do that. That way, they're accountable for their actions. Same thing for the bosses. When you push stuff up, always ask the bosses, hey, when do you think you'll be able to get this back to me? And then do the same negotiation, no negotiation back and forth. So now prioritize growth, foster a culture where complexity and challenges are met by curiosity and optimism instead of anxiety and reactivity that characterizes so many workplaces. One of the first things that I've said, and anyone who's ever worked with me, any of my clients know, we want you comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's exactly what you need. You need to be constantly looking at your growth edge, and putting yourself there, constantly extending it and cultivating that growth edge. As Ryan Holiday has said, and he has a great book on there, the obstacle is the way. Whatever's difficult, that's what you're supposed to go do. And if you and your teams constantly are looking for the difficult things and are going after that in a collaborative, intentional way, you will grow your team. And the psychological safeties we're talking here will also develop and flourish as well. All right, so we want to take action. So psychological safety isn't just a buzzword. It's the cornerstone of high-performing teams. Absolutely. Yet its misuse threatens to undermine its essence. As a leader, you face a critical choice, allowed to be weaponized, or you're going to seize the opportunity to transform your culture. Start by being crystal clear about what psychological safety does and does not mean. And that's one thing that leaders need to understand and embrace. You get to assign definitions for a lot of what goes on in your organization. And one of the best known practices we have is when it comes to core values is we have our teams provide the definition. So you don't get to take what you think on the outside. No, no, no. When you're in here, this is what this means. And you need to understand when you're using this word, this is what it means, or this phrase. I think that's a great, great offer there. Again, we want to be the leader who creates clear expectations for individual and collective accountability, and don't stop there. Embrace the insights for growth as non-negotiable and a trademark of your team. With that, that's all I got for you today. Thank you. Hopefully, I earned your subscription today. If so, please go ahead and click it there. And don't forget to hit the notification bell because I do go live typically Monday through Friday on this with small business news. So thank you very much. Take care and have a great weekend.